sorry, नाम इंट्रोडक्ट कर रहे हैं ना कोई ना. My name is Pangale and my lab here Akum Kipa or their project or their no specifics ना. तो हम लोग इनको तीन ग्रुप में डिवाइड किया है. जैसे कि हम इंट्रोडक्शन और बैकग्राउंड को शुरू करेगा, उसके बाद हमारा मेन ये बोलेगा एक और तीन को बोलेगा, उसके बाद कंक्लूजन में ये कंक्लूजन और कि जो आज के समय में मतलब बहुत कैसे इम्पोर्टेंट है ना. तो मतलब ये हम लोग का ये पार्लियामेंट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया जो पार्लियामेंट में पास किया बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट ये वही है. मतलब ये जो पीपल एक्ट 1950 ना, तो इसको हम ये में 7 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया है. 7 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया है और 4 चीज़ों में डिवाइड किया है. तो जैसे कि 7 पार्ट में जो दिया गया है आपका पार्ट वाइज में, तो हम इसको थोड़ा आपको एक्सप्लेन कर देते हैं. हम जो ये मतलब सब जितना 4 चीज़ों को हम नेक्स्ट नहीं कर सकते, 4 चीज़ों से नहीं कर सकते. ऑलरेडी ये पार्ट में अलग रहता है, ये पार्ट 7 का अलग रहता है, इसका अंदर से आ जाता है. तो हम एक्सप्लेन करने का ये अंदर से आने से एक्सप्लेन करने का कोई टाइम नहीं. तो हम लोग का पार्ट में नहीं है प्रिलिमिनरी बिकॉज़ शॉर्ट टाइम होते हैं. आपका इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ पीपल 1950 में आपका ये हो गया. ऑफिसर को भी डिवाइड किया गया है आने वाले हिसाब से. तो ऑफिसर में भी आपका बेसिकली आप बहुत सारा है, लेकिन एक्चुअली जब इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ पीपल एक को डाला गया था तब समय चार ऑफिसर का वो एलोकेट किया था. ऑफिसर का नाम हो गया था दिया गया था. तो उसका पार्ट हो गया आपका चीफ इलेक्टोरल ऑफिसर जो आपका एक पर्टिकुलरली स्टेट को कवर करता है, जो सुपरवाइज करेगा, तो डायरेक्ट करेगा. तो
India got independence from brutal, exploitative British colonial rule and decided to adopt representative democratic system on the basis of elected members who will run the country. The framers of the constitution specially incorporated several provisions in the constitution, but at the same time they also empowered the parliament to elect laws which will provide a comprehensive framework for actual conduct of election in India.
The Act clearly states that religious sentiment must not be used for election processes. But during the Manohar Joshi versus NLD party case, the term
accessibility of voters, procedures of election, and disqualification of candidates with the changing priority. The Act reduced the voting age from 21 to 18 years. This was the incorporated into the representation of the body. It is a permanent body established on 25 January 1960 with one chief election commissioner. For the first time, two election commission was elected on 16 October 1989. But they have
conduct election of the state legislative assemblies, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Also, the election of the Prime Minister and the Vice President. So, while conducting election, it is the duty of the election commission and it has to be very independent. So, conduct election in a very free and fair manner and uphold the principle of democratic features of our constitution. So,
Paksun Riva and Pema Rema. And so we assigned to us the Indranjit Gupta Committee on State Funding of Elections. So there were many political corruptions prevalent in India, especially during election. So Government of India, taking into consideration of this scenario, appointed a committee called Indranjit Gupta Committee on State Funding of Elections. So this committee was basically constituted under the chairmanship of Indranjit Gupta, who was then Minister for Home Affairs. And rest of the members were T.S. Krishnamurthy, G. Kashyap, and O.P. Rawat. These were the members. And this committee was basically was to examine the feasibility of state funding election in India. So it is also necessary to know what is state funding election. State funding election is a financial mechanism through which political parties and their candidates are given.
Most respected members and my dear friends, I'm welcome to the here. My name is Janki Uche, about one-fourth member. But it will continue by my partners, Julian Surin and Julian Mary. So, my topic, I'll cover the topic introduction portion and evolution of the model of country. For that,
The guidelines are given by the Election Commission in different parts in the form of general conduct, meeting, procession, polling booth, observer, party, power. So in general conduct, we have the involvement in activity. So no political parties have indulged, political party or the members have indulged in any activity which aggravates the existing differences between different communities, religious, caste, or any other.
And also the guidelines which is on set of limitation and challenges. Let's dive into. One of the challenges is ambiguity in guidelines. Ambiguity in guidelines, which is open to more than one interpretation, which leads to confusion or inconsistency. For example, Reform Commission aimed at recommending reforms to improve India's public administration. Sri Morarji Desai was appointed as the first chairman at the Administrative Recommendation Commission. Later on, K. Hanumanthaiah took over as chairman when Desai became Deputy Prime Minister. The creation of ARC is seen as one of the key contributions of Pandit Nehru's in administrative reforms. Now let us move to the first Administrative Reform Commission, which led to the foundation of public administration reforms. The first Administrative Reform Commission aimed to ensure efficiency and integrity in public services. Its goal was to make public administration effective for policy implementation and achieve socio-economic development. The first Administrative Reform Commission submitted 20 reports to the government and it contained 580 recommendations under it. So now moving on to the second Administrative Reforms Commission. The second Administrative Reform Commission was set up in August 2005 to revamp the public administration system. It aimed to create a proactive, responsive, accountable, sustainable and efficient administration at all levels of government. Initially chaired by Sri Birappa Moili with 4 members, later on V. Ramachandran took over as chairman from Moili resigned on April 1st, 2009. The second Administrative Reform Commission submitted 15 reports to the government. So far, a group of ministers has considered 11 reports while the rest are being reviewed. Understanding the recommendation of second Administrative Reforms Commission requires looking into the details of process of drafting of the recommendation. So there are 4 steps in drafting of recommendation. So the first step was initial review, where the recommendations were sent to the respective departments for inputs, and the second was the forwarding, where departmental inputs were sent to the CGAR, which is Cabinet Secretary's Core Group on Administrative Reforms. And the third step was the group of ministers, where the recommendations were presented to the group of ministers for further input. And the fourth step was final approval. The recommendation then sent to the Prime Minister for final approval. This process ensured that the second Administrative Reform Commission were practical and actionable, aligning with its mandate to transform public administration. The mandate of second administration reform. second administration. The second administrative reform aims to improve India's public administration to build a trustworthy, strong and competent and innovative system at all levels of government. Some of its primary objectives are improving financial system, such as using the public financial management system for tracking expenditures, and second, modernizing personnel management, including reforms in civil services, recruitment and training, ensuring strong state and local self-governance, as in the Panchayat Raj through the 73rd Amendment Act. Number 4, managing natural disasters, like the establishment of National Disaster Response Force, NDRF. Number 5, supporting e-government initiatives, such as the Digital India program for efficient public services. And the number 6 is promoting ethical administration, including the creation of Lokpal to tackle corruption activities. And the 7th is enhancing the regulatory system of the Indian government, such as the Competition Commission of India, to prevent monopolies. This is a brief review of Second Administrative Reform Commission. Now my friend Sitila will take over.
So once again, good afternoon everyone. Thank you, Singir. In continuation of what my friend has said, I will be dealing with the reports and some of the major recommendations of the Second Administrative Reform Commission. So firstly, with the reports of the Commission. The Commission submitted 15 reports to the government. They are mentioned below in the order of submission. First, right to information must be key to good governance. Second, unlocking human capital, entitlement and governance, a case study. Third, crisis management from despair.
An important role to play. Talking terrorism funding, video recording of confessions, and the other recommendation was on refurbishing of personal administration. The Government of India should establish National Institutes of Public Administration to run bachelor's degree courses in public administration, governance, and management.
Respected Ma'am and my dear friends. Firstly, I'd like to thank Ms. Ma'am for giving us such an opportunity to present on such a topic. I'm Ms. Kawonya, along with my co-presenters, Mr. Keshav Sao and Mr. Kipa Tutu, here present on the topic electronic voting machine, its pros and
I will continue the next part of our discussion, the part is positive aspect of EVMs. As we know that EVMs provide the transparency in the voting process. If we look at the electoral history of India, we will see that there are lots of human errors occur.
Negative aspect of EVMs. As we can see, there are one negative aspect of EVMs. First, we have security, cyber security. As we know, EVMs are made up of technical parts and software run through the software, so it is very vulnerable to hacking and tampering, which compromises the integrity of the electoral process if proper security measures are not taken. Second, we have glitches. Unlike traditional paper ballots, the inner working of the EVMs are not easily understood, and many software glitches can be found, which leads to incorrect votes or invalid votes. Third, we have inclusivity, or we can say voter accessibility issues. Some voters, particularly elders or less educational about technology, people may find it struggle to use electronics, thus leading to.
I would like to introduce on our presentation. Our topic is on electoral reforms in India. Electoral reforms refers to change or improvement made to the electoral system to ensure a clear, more transparent and efficient democratic process. These reforms are
I'll be talking about the committees related to electoral reforms. There are many reforms since from the beginning, and we have mentioned here some of the importance. So it won't take much time. I'll just read out the committee's name and in which it was probably the most important one. So
first is the President and Vice President elections, the number of electors as proposed for the candidature of President and Vice President was increased. For President, it was increased from 10 to 15 members, and for Vice President from 5 to 20 members. And the amount deposit was also increased from 2,500 to 15,000. Voting through postal ballot. Provisions were made for certain classes of people, certain people who were unable to be present at the day of the voting to vote through postal ballot. Declaration of criminal antecedents assets by candidates. The Election Commission in 2003 issued order that those candidates contesting election to the parliamentary and state legislature has to give all their details of criminal antecedents and assets in the nomination paper. Cases in the Rajya Sabha election, the domicile and the residential requirements of the candidate contesting election to Rajya Sabha was removed. It means that a candidate can contest election from 2 or more constituencies. Introduction of braille signature features in EVMS. The braille signature feature was also introduced in EVMS for visually impaired persons. Reformation since 2010. Restriction imposed on exit poll. Exit poll is a kind of opinion survey that is being conducted after the voting in order to predict the result of the election. However, it was prohibited not to publicize by any means of electronic media or any other means before the end of the election. All officials included in corrupt practices. Those government officials who were deployed for the election duty, if they were found to be indulged in any kind of corrupt practices during the hour of the election, they shall be prosecuted. Voting rights to citizens of India living abroad. Those citizens who are residing abroad and have not acquired citizenship of that country, and if he or she is absent from his mother country due to employment or education, they shall be entitled to vote. Introduction of NOTA. It was introduced in 2013 and with the purpose to allow voters to express their disapproval of any candidate enlisted in the EVMS. Introduction of VVPAT. It stands for Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail, and it is a confirmation page containing the name, serial number and the party symbol in order to so that the voters can verify their vote. And for general information, it was first used in Knoxon Constituent Assembly in London. Immediate disqualification of convicted MPs and MLAs. Those member of parliament or member of legislative charge sheeted or convicted of any offence shall be qualified from holding membership in the House without 3 months appeal, as was the case before. Sealing on cash donation. In 2017 budget, cash donation was lowered to 2,000. Cap on corporate contribution was lifted. Earlier, the corporate companies can only donate 7.5% of its profit. However, this was removed, and now a company or corporate can donate any amount of money to a political party. Foreign funding was also allowed, and introduction of electoral bonds. Electoral bonds was introduced in 2018 with the goal of reforming the political funding system and to curb black money. However, due to some defects, it has been struck down by recently in 2024 by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. And lastly, Election Law Amendment Act 2021. It is linking the electoral roll data of the candidate with other in order to curb multiple enrollment of the same person.
Any improvement in our electoral system to ensure free and fair elections and make transparent elections. These reforms are very essential for enhancement of the legitimacy of our election and strengthening public trust in the democracy.
The Election Commission of India was established on 26th of January 1950 in order to smooth and free and fair function of election. The Chief Election Commissioner is guiding minister of Indian Election He state and across the country. He is announced the election process and models for conduct by him. The Chief Election Commissioner is the power to recognize the party who are not over the protocol of the Election Commission or their party. The Election Commissioner is appointed by the President of India from the bureaucrats and any such as IFS who is reputed about the bureaucrat in terms of the Chief Election Commissioner is the watchdog of Indian election system. Thank you.
Any improvement in our electoral system to ensure free and fair elections and make transparent elections. These reforms are very essential for enhancement of the legitimacy of our election and strengthening public trust in the democracy.